Welcome to the first video tutorial for the Python Fundamentals Lab. In this video, we will be outlining the first of two on your own sections in this week's lab, where you are asked to create a script that performs a series of 7 tasks. You may want to test the individual lines of code using either the ArcGIS Python window or the Python Win interactive window. Once we've successfully written the lines of code to perform each step, we'll combine them into a single Python script, save that, and then that's what we will take a screenshot of and submit that screenshot to the course site. So let's get started. I have my Python interactive window open. First, create a string of my full name named string name, and that's gonna be Selena, Michelle, Randall. The next step is to split the string into individual names that go in a list. Create that list called list name, and that's going to equal the string name, and we're going to split that at the spaces. And in order to test this line of code, we are actually going to use the print function, and we're going to say print list name, and you can see how my 3-word name is now separated into a list. So the third item that you are asked to do is using indexing, print your last name from the list. So in this case, I'm looking for Randall. Now I could use indexing for my list, and if I used that, it would be index position 2. But what if I'm use this for another list? In that case, we'll need to use something that's more universal. So here we are going to print from list name index position -1. That way it will work in whatever list we need it to work with. So next we're going to assign a variable that finds the length of the last name. We're going to call that variable last name length, and it's going to be equal to the length of list name, and that's going to be of position -1, and we need to close these parentheses. So it's really not performing any action, so let's print last name length to test that code, and it is 7. And my last name Randall has 7 characters in it. So we're on the right track here. Next, we're going to assign a variable that multiplies the length of our name by 3. So we're going to name that variable triple last name, and it's going to be equal to the item last name length times 3. And it just so happens that in the code that we're asking you to write, it's asking you to print that value. So we're going to print triple last name, and it comes to 21. Okay, so now what we're going to do is take these snippets of code, these lines of code that work, and now that we know that at each step we've tested it and it works, we're going to create a new Python script, and we are going to copy each of these lines, and then we'll test it. And the key here will be for everything to happen in the background, so we won't see each step. That's why we tested each step out in the interactive window. Now we're going to save our script as mod2 with our first initial last name .py, and then we are going to run, and the results are Randall 21.